96, 97.3 Citi FM. It doesn't get any better than that. Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Citi News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou. Tonight, I'm here with
Melody Fafa Otufe.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes.
We received a petition to the effect that some vehicles which were the property of that company had been stolen by the said Maxwell Kofi Juma.
Former Gihok MD Maxwell Kofi Juma arrested for allegedly stealing 3 cars belonging to the company. The police has since granted him a 500,000 cedi bail. We'll be hearing more on what transpired at the police headquarters in Accra. Also coming up, incumbent Ghana Journalists Association President Albert Jumfor set to retain his position as members vote for national and regional executives today. And later on Eyewitness News, we take you to the Oti region where 19 schools have been closed down following recent unrest in Nkwanta. And in business,
24-hour economy to attract $4 billion in private investment.
That's in 15 minutes from the Citi Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations, including Tungsung 97.3 FM in Wa, Jirapa 96.1 FM in Jirapa, Quality 88.7 FM in Garu, Radio Bimbila 91.9 FM in Bimbila, VOV Radio 95.7 in Hohwe, Revival 99.3 FM in Tajavu, Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi, Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi, Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani, Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady, and Sky 93.5 FM also in Takrady. We are also live on citinewsroom.com. That's our website. We are live on citifmonline.com. The show is also on YouTube and Facebook. Just look for Citi FM and follow the live streaming. You can join us by sending your messages to our WhatsApp number 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. You can also go on Twitter, now known as X, and mention me at Umaru Sanda or at Citi973, and the world will hear what you think. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Fafa has our first story.
The Ghana Police Service says it has retrieved 3 vehicles allegedly stolen from Gihok by its former managing director Maxwell Kofi Juma. Mr. Juma was arrested at his 75th birthday celebration in Kumasi following a complaint by the company over missing assets. Director General of CID, DCOP Lydia Donko, told the press that Mr. Juma is currently in custody assisting with investigations.
Mr. Maxwell Kofi Juma was arrested based on a complaint a petition that was submitted to us by the Gihok Distilleries Company Limited. We received a petition to the effect that some vehicles which were the property of that company had been stolen by the said Maxwell Kofi Juma. Warrants for arrest was properly secured, and that was the basis for which he was arrested, and he's in our custody at the CID headquarters and is assisting with investigation. I must mention that as at this afternoon, we have retrieved 3 vehicles. So the said vehicles that were stolen by him have been retrieved. So he's really assisting us with the investigation, and then we will take it up from there. Yes. Thank you.
That was DCOP Lydia Donko, Director General of Police CID.
Let's go to the police headquarters and speak to Charles Owusu-Komi. He's our reporter who has been following the story all day. Charles, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Earlier, we heard that the police had granted Maxwell Kofi Juma, former KMA boss, former member of parliament, and also former head of Gihok, bail. Can you tell us more on what happened leading up to the granting of bail?
Well, Sanda, that was after hours
of interrogation and investigations. Mr. Kofi Juma, I'm told, was brought in to the police CID headquarters very early in the morning. When he was picked up yesterday, he was taken to the Regional Police Command in Kumasi, and then very early in this morning, he was transferred here to the CID headquarters. I heard you play the voice of the CID boss, and she mentioned some 3 vehicles that have been retrieved. One of those vehicles is sitting here at the CID headquarters, the Hyundai Genesis vehicle, which we're told was allegedly stolen by Mr. Kofi Juma as he exited Gihok. He was arrested yesterday at his 75th birthday celebration, and I spoke to the Director of Communications for the NPP in the Ashanti region, and he says, well, this is one of just political persecution from the NDC. But today, when they came in with some 2 lawyers, and then, they went up there, had conversations with the police. We're told that the other 2 vehicles have not been brought in because they are immovable. We have not been told exactly why they are immovable, but I'm told that one of the vehicles does not even have an engine in the vehicle, for which reason it was not brought here to the CID headquarters. But one of them is currently here. So after hours of the interrogation, he came out with some of his members of his family and friends, and some members of the NPP who had come all the way from the Ashanti region to support him. And then we were told that they had been granted the 500,000 Citi bill with 2 sureties.
Interesting. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Let's speak to his lawyer now. That's Charles Osukumi. He's a reporter here at Citi FM. Let me go on the other phone line and speak to Nana Benyin Akon, his lawyer for Maxwell Kofi Juma. Sir, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Yes, good evening to you.
Good evening to you. Now, so the understanding we have is that your client has been granted bail to the tune of 500,000 cedis. Can you confirm to us if he's been able to secure the surety needed for that? We're told 2 sureties are required.
Okay, that is correct. He was granted bail to the tune of 500,000 Ghana cedis with 2 sureties, and the conditions have been met. I think all the processes have been complied with, and he has been released thereafter.
I see.
So he's a free man. He's gone home.
Oh, he's
as
gone.
we speak.
He's gone home. Okay, interesting. Now let's talk about the reasons the police arrested him. The information we had was he was picked up yesterday while he was at his 75th birthday party. Is that something you can confirm? What else are the police investigating him for?
I'm not aware that he was at a birthday party, but what I know is that he was arrested at home, and on allegations of having stolen 3 vehicles, and that is what he was being investigated for. So when we met the police, that is the information we were made to understand. So he's being investigated for allegedly stealing 3 vehicles. That's the information and the official information that we have. Now, today we cooperated with investigation. We got to know we got to know when we got to the premises of the Ghana police today that he was actually arrested based on a bench warrant. We didn't know that, but and he was informed and he confirmed that to us. But being an investigative process, we have to comply, and we have assisted the police so far. We have given them all the information we need to give. And he has responded to all questions that were put to him. And so far, we say that it's been smooth. The investigation process has been good and smooth.
Has he told you how he intends to plead if he's put before court on these matters of stealing? Because the police claims they have gone to retrieve these vehicles which he had stolen when he was leaving Gihok.
I think at this stage it is very important to understand the fact as it's played today at the investigative stage. Now, Mr. Juma was accused of having stolen 3 vehicles. Now, in the course of investigation, it turned out that out of these 3 vehicles, 1 was in the exclusive possession of Gihok itself. So only 2 out of the vehicles were in his possession. Now, Mr. Juma tendered documents to them to show that he has not stolen any vehicle. He is the true owner of those 2 vehicles. Out of these 2, he purchased 1 of them from an insurance company. It didn't belong to Gihok at all. And then the second one was a vehicle that he was using as an as MD of Gihok. And according to the terms of his employment, when he's leaving, he's entitled to purchase that vehicle. So there are documents to show that Gihok actually valued the vehicle. STC was involved in the whole process. They valued the vehicle, and then they quoted the amount he's supposed to pay. He paid the amount, and then ownership was subsequently transferred to him. So he owns this vehicle as we speak with relevant documents. So we just don't understand the basis of the allegation of having stolen vehicles at all. At all.
Which means that the 3 vehicles that he is alleged to have stolen, 2 were actually procured by him, to summarize what you said. 1 he bought from an insurance company, and 2, the second one is a vehicle he used to use when he was at Gihok, which he procured upon exit. That's what you have said, correct?
That is correct.
And the 3rd vehicle that the police claims he had stolen, what do you know about that?
The 3rd vehicle is not even with him at all. It is still in the possession of Gihok, and he gave them details or information on that particular vehicle. So it turned out that we are only dealing with 2 vehicles, one of which he purchased from an insurance company, and as a salvage vehicle, and then the second one he went through legitimate process to procure it in accordance with the terms and conditions of his employment. That's all.
What next? Has he been given a court date?
Okay, so far, it is important to understand that Mr. Kofi Juma has not been charged with any criminal offense. That's very important. The investigative process is still ongoing, and he's only been cautioned. So what he has given to the police is a caution statement. Police investigation, we understand, is still ongoing. Until that is concluded, then we will know whether he will be charged or otherwise. But per the information we have, given to the police and the document we have tendered, I wonder how far this thing can go beyond this place. I don't think that there is any factual basis for those allegations at all. I don't think so.
So are the terms of the bill not spelled out that he's supposed to report to the police, or he was just asked to go home?
Okay, so he was not asked to report to the police as usual. Mind you, he currently does not stay in Accra. He stays in Kumasi. But we were assured that anytime they will need him, they will actually call him to report. But we were not given a definite report yet. But as and when he's needed, they will actually call him.
Very well. Someone just drew my attention to something, and I want to ask you. I'm not sure whether you can answer this or not, but when the former president Akufo-Addo was leaving office, there was a directive that his officials should not buy vehicles or official vehicles. How does your client respond to this claim? Is it the case that it is a law at GIHOC that you buy your vehicle on retirement or upon exit, or the Akufo-Addo directive did not apply to this particular case? I don't know if you have a comment on that, if you know anything.
Now, the only thing I can say to that is that I don't know the effect of that statement the president made. But to the extent that I know, I don't know of any legal provision against the purchase of a vehicle when that actually forms part of your working condition. In the particular case of Honorable Kofi Juma, the terms of his employment is very clear that he's entitled to use that vehicle. So I think he only exercised that clause in his terms of employment. And GIHOC actually took steps to get that effected. That's all that I can say.
Another thing, and this is a comment coming through, asking whether it is reasonable to say that he bought a vehicle of the nature that has been described for as low as 4,000 cedis. What do you say to that?
Well, you know that I don't determine the same way Mr. Kofi Juma doesn't determine the price at which vehicles under these circumstances would be purchased. Now, it went through the formal lay-down procedure for effecting something like this. And so I don't think that, for what we know and what we have known over the years, it is the same process that he followed. I don't think that he has violated anything. The amount, mind you, the amount to purchase the vehicle was not determined by him. It is determined by a system. And that is what actually happened. And he complied with that.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's Nana Benyi Akon. He is lawyer for Maxwell Kofi Juma, former member of parliament, former Kumasi mayor, and former GIHOC MD, who was arrested for allegedly stealing 3 cars belonging to GIHOC. And you heard his lawyer there say that these are vehicles that he bought himself. One of them, a vehicle he was using, which he bought upon exit from GIHOC. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Talking about people who have been detained and people related to the New Patriotic Party. Another person who is in custody is the Alhaji Abdul Hanan Wahab and his wife. Now, Alhaji Abdul Hanan Wahab was CEO of the National Food Buffer Stock Company, NAFCO, in the Akufo-Addo administration. He was MPP parliamentary candidate for Pusiga in the Upper East region. He has been sleeping at the EOCO, Economic and Organized Crimes Office, since his arrest. What is happening? John Daku is a member of parliament on the ticket of the NPP from the Suame constituency, and he's also a lawyer for the minority side in parliament. Sir, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, my brother, and good evening to your cherished listeners.
Good evening to you. What do we know about the arrest of your party member? When was he arrested? How long has he been in detention? What are the terms of his release?
Well, what we've been told and you see from the press release signed by the deputy minority leader, Madam Patricia Appiagyei, is that on Wednesday, 25th of June, Yoko arrested the former chief executive of the National Food Buffer Stock Company, and he's been in the custody of the police. We know that he's been granted bail in the sum of 50 million to be justified, with his partner who has also been granted bail in the sum of 30 million to be justified. And so we issued the statement just to draw attention of the people of Ghana, the media, civil society, about this creeping thing happening in our body politic, where state institutions mandated to investigate crimes, arrogate to themselves the power to grant bail and then insist on justification of the sureties. And they give you bail conditions which are so excessive, in law we will say it will amount to granting of the bail. The gentleman and his spouse has been in police custody since Wednesday, and clear violation of Article 14, which requires that after a person has been arrested, he should be sent to the court within 48 hours for the court to grant the person bench bail pending investigation. For me, it is worrisome because we become a country where we always put the cart before the horse. In other jurisdictions and developed democracies, we all know they conduct investigations thoroughly before they go to arrest people, so that by the time they arrest you, they present to you the charges, all the information they have. But we've chosen to do the reverse. We arrest you before we look for the information. So the authorities will say, we are still investigating. Then they slap this huge surety on you, and you will not be able to satisfy. So they continue to keep you in their custody in flagrant violation of your human and civil rights. So it's a worrisome situation, and we all need to begin to speak about this. We understand that there is opportunity for you to maybe make an application for habeas corpus, go to court. But even that, you need some basic information to be able to go to court. You have to be charged, the charge sheet. What offense have you, committed? All of that will have to be given to you, so that when you go to court, you can make a solid argument that based on the charge sheet and then based on your personal circumstances, you believe that the particular bail condition is effective, and that because you have 6 days of abode, you will not be a frustrated. So for that matter, the court should review the bail conditions. All these things haven't been done, and the human rights of these people are being, continue to be violated. For us, it is not just an NPP member; it is a Ghanaian, and if it happens to people like this, it can happen to anybody. And we won't need to begin to rise up and fight against this creeping dictatorial tendencies of our institutions. Look, we did not fight the military government to now come under a democratic dictatorship. We need to up the game.
It's interesting you mentioned habeas corpus there, because when Chairman Wontumi was arrested, that was an issue that came up later in the conversation, where your director of legal thought that that's something that could have been filed to have saved him the 1 week or so that he spent in custody. Now that you are having difficulties settling this bail condition, do you not think you should quickly rush to the High Court and possibly file this habeas corpus? And I'm not sure whether you are saying that habeas corpus cannot be filed unless you have been charged. I'm not sure that's what you really intended to say. If that would be the case, then that may be a bit challenging. But I thought that, considering what happened to you the last time your Ashanti Regional Chairman was arrested, you should have learned some lessons and possibly gone to the High Court if you thought that the IOCO or the police were acting outside their mandate.
Well, I mean, so the point is that what we issued a statement by the Deputy Minority Leader, is part of the effort to draw attention to the attitude of the IOCO. All of us will have to know and condemn the act. Of course, it is not that, and the fact that you go to court are not mutually exclusive. I believe that his lawyers are advising him in that regard as well. But you see, do we have to go through all that? I mean, we know the provisions in our constitution. They are so clear that state authorities being paid by the same people should not use their powers to violate the rights of citizens and individuals. We don't always have to do that. We are rational human beings. We are all made in the image of God. We understand the rights of people. I believe that we need, that's why I said we need to lift the game. It cannot be business as usual. President Mama had a massive endorsement from the people of Ghana to do right by everybody, not to use the political power to target, some political person. It is not right. And so for the minority, after this statement, we'll also make a statement in Parliament. We'll continue to draw attention of the people of Ghana to these violations. And hopefully we believe the lawyers of member and the other members will also take the steps to go to court to get the court to come into this matter.
Just before you go, I noticed from the weekend social media commentary suggesting that when Chairman Wontumi was arrested, your party members, those in Parliament, went and intended to engage in a vigil at the Iyoko until he is released. When he came to Hanan Wahab of the Buffer Stock Company, nobody has gone to look for him or to go and demonstrate or picket or go and sit down on the pavement like you and your colleagues did the last time Chairman Wontumi was arrested. Can you explain why?
No, but it's not true that nobody from our party has gone to see him. People have gone to see him that I'm aware. But I'm referring to the type of scene that we saw Wontumi being seen. That type. I mean, so that was one of decision we made. I'm not sure it will be the final one, but we look at the exigencies of every situation, and I believe the leadership will advise. I mean, I don't think that as minority we want to always be on the street every day to protest. At least we make the point that people of Ghana will understand the situation. Subsequently, we have other legal means to make our voice known. One of them is this issue of this statement by the Deputy Minority Leader. Subsequent days, we'll make statement on the floor of Parliament. When the situation persists and we see that the state institutions are going to continue, I believe the leadership will advise. And look, I can tell you, the leadership advised that we hold a vigil, everybody will come, and I believe we'll get the support of a lot of people of Ghana to protest these violations.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
You're welcome.
That's Honorable John Daku. He is NPP Member of Parliament for Swami, and is also Legal Counsel for the minority in Parliament. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Still unbeatable. Republic Bank has slashed the Citi mortgage interest rate to a new low. That means it's more affordable to own your dream home. You enjoy lower monthly installments, save on interest payments, flexible loan arrangements, and more. Make the move. Own your home at a lower teen interest rate. But hurry, this offer lasts for a limited time. Visit any Republic Bank branch or send email to myhome@republicghana.com or call Accra 054 0109 649. Kumasi 054 0109 901 to apply today and enjoy a teen interest rate. Republic Bank, with the one for you.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Go me. I want time where you can't park where I don't hear the sound of your car. Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same right. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. better. And what they boss my mind self be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish Magobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand Magobe inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the gobe too small.
The go-go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
It's your day off and you end up looking after the baby while your wife goes off to work. You realize you have no idea how to change a diaper. So you video call your wife.
Hello, darling.
Yeah, hello. Hello.
Kojo, is everything all right?
Everything is not all right. I'm not seeing Topo. How do I change a baby's diaper, please?
Kojo. Okay, first, put the diaper.
The video call freezes. While you wait for the internet to catch up, the baby sprouts a fountain and wets the diaper. As you are getting a new one, your wife comes back online.
Kojo, no.
But I had to go and get a new diaper. What must I do next? I beg, quick.
Open the front of the diaper. It's the side that has...
Wow, look. The video freezes again.
By now, you know where the conversation is going. There's no buffering in real life, so why accept it from your internet connection? Get connected and experience ultra-fast internet to your home, powered by MTN Fiber Broadband. From the Internet Masters.
MTN, everywhere you go. Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let me bring some of the messages you've been sending through. And Zelix Dwayne in London says government must recover all the loot. Simple as that. Kennedy Onipayade says Mr. Maxwell Kofi Juma should be made to face the full rigors of the law. A lot of appointees under the Akufo-Addo administration should be investigated. Akapo Jr. in Afomim says the arrest of Kofi Juma and his subsequent prosecution should not be politicized. Members of MPP must stay away from the man who thought and acted as if Gihok was his bona fide property. The law must severely deal with him. Njoya Bright in Nottinghamshire, UK says if they had successfully broken the 8, the only thing left was for the MPP to... I cannot continue with that. How can you dissipate state assets as if there is no tomorrow, especially an elderly man? From Baba Chairman in Tamale, he says, indeed, if the said vehicles were in the possession of Mr. Kofi Juma, then I'll be disappointed in him. Mausi Aibi Esther from Abutiateti in the Volta region says, supporting the retrieval of the 3 cars from former Gihok boss Kofi Juma is essential for transparency and accountability. Ensuring proper recovery of company assets maintains integrity and trust, helping to uphold lawful conduct and protect corporate interests during this process. Alex Kofi Areni in Adenta Commando says it is in the right direction that the NDC is committed to the rule of law, unlike what we saw previously. Gastiman in Brekum says Mahama and his government must know that power is transient and karma is still working. We are entering another month with a new high tariff on our neck. We need Dr. Baumia to rescue us. Jones Adboy in La says, welcome back. Okay, thank you. How on earth would you still be having government property in your possession if you didn't have any ulterior motive? Mark Hagan from Legon says, just listen to this, to his lawyer tells me that if anybody has power, he or she can buy the properties of the institution, and if this continues, this country will not progress. Let the law deal with them, all in the full support, you say, with the authorities to deal with that. Nana Kwame in Drobo says, what is this thing with political appointees buying state vehicles after enjoying all the fat salaries and other goodies when leaving office? To hell with the argument that it was part of his condition of service, because such a practice is retrogressive and contravenes common sense and the sensibilities of the ordinary Ghanaian. And then Alhassan Hamdan from New South says, why is the MPP not making noise about the arrest of Honorable Hanan and is like they did for Chairman Wontumi? Is Hanan not important to the party? Well, you heard me ask that question of John Daku, and he has since responded. You can send your message to 0549 986 996, 986-996. Let's go to the OT region now. The regional minister is John Kujo Japong. Honorable Minister, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Yeah, thank you very much.
What's happening in Nkwanta? There's been peace there for a long time. What happened?
Yeah, there have been a lot of issues in Nkwanta. Nkwanta town is calm. Nkwanta town itself is calm. There's no problem there. But some of the towns within Nkwanta municipality, like Kerry, where, some buildings were burnt down and 1 or 2 people killed in Kerry. In Bunache, the burnt down houses in Bunache, with about 2 people also killed in Bunache. The houses that were burnt in Bunache included the Achille Chief's palace, where about 2 people were also reported dead. Now, when you come to Power, that was where the student who lost his life comes from. There were a lot of house burning, in Power. For now, that is what is going on. That is the intel we have received so far. But we have asked the Konkoma chief from Kaza to talk to his brothers and sisters who are Konkomas. It's looking like the Konkomas are attacking the Achodes in those areas. This is what we don't know about, except a reason that a student who comes from Power and a Konkoma was unfortunately, he had a stray bullet and he died, and that might have, increased the tension in those areas. That is it for now.
So the student who has been killed is a Konkoma, you say?
Yeah, he's a Konkoma, yeah.
Okay.
He was a Konkoma. And then what happened again, what again increased the tension was that, some 2 students, Konkoma students from Power, were coming back to Nkwanta to take their belongings. And then there were straight bullets hit the 2 of them, but luckily none of them, died. And that generated a lot of tension, on that line. That's Power, Kerry, Abewanko, down to the roadside. And it has not been easy since yesterday. We've sent a lot of military men and police there, and they are working on it. It has not been easy. But we hear that this evening things are calmed down, and they hope that latest by tomorrow the whole place will be peaceful. Yeah. So that is what we are getting for you from Nkwanta municipality as of now.
Is there a history, and when I say history, a history of violence or disagreements between the Konkombas and the other ethnic group you mentioned? Is it Cherry?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. But it's like the Konkomas stay with the Achodes and the Charles. They all stay to the same area. So you can't know maybe if there are issues. But to be frank with you, the death of the Konkoma guy and the 2 students that had street bullets has increased a lot of tension in the areas where the Konkomas and Achodes, stay together. It has created a lot of problem for us, and we need to beef up the security. About 50 other soldiers had come to beef up the security for us. Like in Bunache, where the Konkomas and Achodes also stay together, they burnt the palace of the Achode chief, and about 2 or 3 people are reported killed there.
I see.
But now the soldiers have gone there, and the whole place is calm for now.
Have there been any arrests?
Okay, yes, there have been arrests. Yeah, 2 days ago or 3 days ago, they arrested 8, guys who belong to one ethnic group. Some of them holding guns and other things. Some of them shooting at the police and the military. So they were arrested. We heard this morning too, about 2 or 3 has been arrested. Those who were arrested.
Yes.
Those who were arrested on Friday were sent to Accra, and they are in Accra. They are in the custody in Accra for now.
I see. President John Mahama's representative, the trusted one in that region, is you. You are the chairman of the or the coordinator of the security situation in that region. All the security agencies report to you. Now, part of the work of security is to engage in preemption. Are you saying to us tonight that at no point did you pick any intelligence at all as a coordinator for security in the region that there was bound to be this clash which led to what we saw?
We picked intelligence, but we didn't have the security men until they came up to beef up the security. We picked the intelligence that things were not going on well. As soon as the Konkoma guy was shot, we took the intelligence that the people are not happy and they want to retaliate. So we picked the intelligence and we reported to the national security. We reported to the military commander in Ho, and then they gave us people. More military people came, and as of yesterday, we had over 100 of security men who were doing all this rounds.
Does it mean that they didn't respond early enough when you made the request for deployment?
No, you were taken by surprise. You know what they responded.
So my point is that if you're taken by surprise, then your intelligence failed you. Because if your intelligence worked, then you would have known ahead of time and taken proactive measures.
No. Let me explain. You know, we picked the intelligence that people were massing up to do things that we didn't know. We asked for the security people beef up, and they came. You know, one of the issues that created a problem was that, you know, when they announced the curfew time, the people always talk about that the curfew is only in Kwantan town. But when you read the statement stated that it is in Kwantan Township and its environs. You know, in a later issue, maybe 3 years ago, there was an issue like that, and some people were arrested and were taken to court and they were released because of the statement that, you know, Kwantan Town and environs has a certain mileage to cover, and they left them, and that also created a problem. So what we are doing now is that we are asking everybody to know that the curfew is all over Nkwanta, where the problems are. Talking about Kerry, talking about Power, talking about Branco, talking about Bonache, talking about Siari and East Envalons. Okay. So I'm very sure now that we have sent people to those areas, I think calm will be achieved.
Regional Minister, you are presiding over a very new region created in 2018. Do you have a regional? Do you have a police? You have a regional police command, don't you? I'm sure Dambai should have that.
We have a regional command.
But you do not have military. You don't have a single military base, do you?
No, we don't have.
So you rely on Ho. You rely on Ho for military support.
That's it. That's the point, and that is what we are advocating for. You know, for some time now, Nkwanta has not been safe.
Okay, but based on my knowledge of the geography of the area, you could have called for soldiers from Bimbila or Yendi. That would have been easier and quicker than coming from Ho. I don't know. What do you think?
You know that talking to military men, they will ask you to call their regional commander. Anytime you have to talk to them to beef up the people, you have to report to their most senior, and he is the only person who can ask that please go up there and help. That is the situation. You know, Bimbila, I don't think Bimbila itself also has any military base. We have a very special one at Karachi, where because of the they are there, and we called all of them. They were all on board. It's not like we didn't call. We called everybody, and
it sounds like a helpless situation. Would you say that your region, based on what has happened now, would require a military base? Is that an advice? Is that a recommendation you would make to national security if you were asked?
That's exactly that. Even that's exactly. We have written a letter requesting for a military base at Nkwanta, and it is very necessary that it's done. We have a military base in Nkwanta, because Nkwanta itself, you know, borders most of the Togo border, you know, and so anything at all can happen. Right? In the eastern way, it's bordered by Togo. When you go to the northern side is also bordered by Togo. And so anything at all can happen to Nkwanta. So we requested for a military base in Nkwanta.
One more thing before you go. Because you have mentioned that this violence was between two ethnic groups, and we do know what happens in other parts of the country. In the last part of the Akufo-Addo administration, he'd had to reshuffle his regional minister for Upper East and send him to Upper West and bring the one from Upper West to Upper East. Analysts hold a view it was because a possibility of them being involved in one way or the other to the feuding factions. Are you in any way related to any of these two ethnic groups you've mentioned? Would that hinder your work in any way?
No, I'm not related to any of the ethnic groups in Nkwanta. No.
Very well.
You know, I'm an Akan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm an Akan.
Okay.
Yeah.
From the Akan constituency, I presume.
Yeah, in the Akan constituency, but you know, we are an Ashanti. We are Ashanti that settled in Akan.
I get you. Thank you so much for speaking to us, and please keep your region in peace. We pray.
Okay, we'll do our best. Thank you very much.
All the best.
Talking to us.
That's Honorable John Kujo Japon. He's a OT Regional Minister. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Speaking about Nkwanta, which he has been talking to us about, we did an interview earlier with Jonathan Kosina. He's the Nkwanta South Municipal Director of Education in the OT region. He's been telling us about how the recent issue has affected education and led to the closure of schools. Listen.
We have, as at now, we are seeking shelter. There is no school going on in those areas where the conflict is. We are waiting we've informed Director General, we are waiting for official letter to close down those schools. However, those schools are not in operation as we speak. That means there is no official letter which has come out to close down the school. But all teachers, closing down schools has a procedure. But for now, we are all taking shelter and there is no school going on.
Do we know the number of schools that are affected by this closure within the area?
Three secondary schools and about 15 basic schools, public basic schools.
So that's Jonathan Kosina. He's the Nkwanta South Municipal Director of Education in the OT region. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Fafa.
The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources says a National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat has been established to ensure coordinated efforts in the fight against illegal mining. This comes amid complaints from small-scale miners who say some individuals posing as security officers are harassing and attacking licensed operators. Speaking on the Citi Breakfast Show, Director of Communications at the Ministry, Mausi Mauniafia, said the new secretariat is the sole body mandated to oversee anti-illegal mining operations nationwide.
But what we are saying is we are working with the security agencies. This is not a Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources task alone. We're working with the security agencies to say we have a command center, the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, or what's known as NIMO. That is the command center coordinating all efforts around these anti-illegal mining operations, so that no individual has locus to go into any place to say, I am the head of an institution, or I am coming from this institution, and I want to conduct a raid. Everything needs to go through NIMOS. We have the backing of the president on this. The Minister of Defense is on this. The Minister of Interior is on this. The head of the National Security is on this. We are also bringing in the Narcotics Control Board, because we find out that when we go into these areas, you find lots of illegal substance drugs. And so that's a coordinated effort by the government.
She further stated that the task force will now be equipped with IDs and body cameras to facilitate easy identification and ensure results-driven operations.
So, as part of this, and like I said, it's an inter-agency network. We are not working alone. NIMOS is working with the local communities. We have engaged the MDCs. We are engaging the regional ministers. We're going to have an identification system for them. And you see, because of intelligence, before they go out into any way. So for example, we sit in the office and we have reports of individuals coming in because everybody is concerned about the state of illegal mining. And so we have individuals coming in to come and report on some activities, illegal activities going on here or there. We just don't get up and go. The team investigates, they verify to ensure that the information that we have received is actually accurate before they go into the onto the field. But before they do, they coordinate with the local authorities within the enclave. So before they go into any area, they would have informed the chief, they would have informed the MMDC, they would have
That was Director of Communications for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Mausi Maunyafia. Away from that, the Ashanti Regional Police Command has arrested 9 suspects in connection with recent residential armed robberies in Kumasi. 1 suspect died from gunshot wounds sustained during a shootout with police, while another is receiving treatment under guard. Ashanti Regional Commander DCOP Emmanuel Tekuju said a suspect, Kwabna Bafo, confessed to the crimes and admitted to committing rape during one of the robberies.
That on Friday, 27 June 2025, at about 11:30 a.m., followed with multiple reports of violent armed robbery incidents across Ekwapa, Danosu, Apatrapa, then Jemolo, and Appeal enclaves. Investigation revealed that the suspects, armed with pump-action guns, pistols, and other offensive weapons, broke into homes, held victims and their families hostage, and robbed them of cash, laptops, mobile phones, and other valuable items. During the initial operation, the following suspects were arrested from their respective hideouts within the metropolis. All suspects are currently in lawful custody and will be arraigned before court in the coming days. Police Command assures the public that intensive efforts are ongoing to apprehend the remaining suspects.
You heard Ashanti Regional Police Commander DCOP Emmanuel Tekuju. The Ghana Bar Association has reiterated its call for a reconsideration of the decision to suspend Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu. This appeal was made during the observation of the 43rd anniversary of Martyrs' Day, an occasion to commemorate the killing of 3 High Court judges, Frederick Opokusa Akodie, Cecilia Kranting-Addo, and Kwejo Eje Ajipon. The judges were abducted and murdered on June 30, 1982. Speaking at the event, President of the Bar Association, Ifwagati, said the suspension of the Chief Justice could set a dangerous precedent.
The spirit of reconciliation, all the various calls made for a reconsideration of the suspension of the Chief Justice in the circumstances as it sets a poor precedent will not go unheeded. We yearn for peace and strive for justice. Micah chapter 6 verse 8. We were given an indication what ultimately pleases the Lord in the following words. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. I repeat, to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. May the rule of law reign supreme in our land. May God bless the administration of justice in our country. May God bless the judiciary. May God bless the Ghana Bar Association. And may God bless our homeland Ghana and make it great and strong, bold to defend forever the cause of freedom and of right. May God also bless us to resist oppressors' rule with all our will and might forevermore, lest we forget.
Ifwagate is president of the Ghana Bar Association. Jurors at the High Court in Accra are worried over the government's delay in paying their 8 months outstanding allowances, a situation that has triggered their ongoing strike. The group had earlier planned to petition the Attorney General's Department, but say they have been advised to suspend due to an ongoing audit of past Chief Justices. Speaking to Citi News, a juror who spoke on condition of anonymity said they will remain on strike until their grievances are resolved.
We thought of submitting the petition to the Attorney General, but it's not the government using the auditing on the
the past from the CG and the past, those who work there, so they are now auditing them and see how things are before they can make any new things. So, in fact, it made the whole thing a bit confusing more because it's now we are getting to the 10th month now. So there's nothing like you are calling it off before. So until we are giving the money, we'll still be waiting.
You heard a juror at the High Court in Accra speaking to Citi News on condition of anonymity.
Now, Ghanaian journalists have been at the polls today voting for leadership at the national level and at the regional level. The Ghana Journalists Association. Albert Jumfor, the current president of the association, is seeking re-election and is being contested by Mr. Mausi. So, other executives who are in the contest, both at the regional and the national level. Let's go to the national headquarters of the Ghana Journalists Association, which is the International Press Center, the Ghana International Press Center in Accra, where Christopher Esima is there for us. Chris, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Polling was supposed to have ended by 3 p.m. I believe that the coalition is happening now. What is the picture looking like?
Well, Sunday, actually, polling ended at 3 p.m. and this was supposed to be the case for all the regions as well. So we've been here at the International Press Center 1, which was also an election center. So we had to get the results here, and then we had to pick 3 other results from the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, the Ghana News Agency head office, and that of the Graphic Communications office, which were all centers in the Greater Accra. Now we are here to have the final results declared. We have the provisional results under, and this is from all the 16 regions that have come in, including the 4 centers in Accra. Currently, it's looking like we might have to retain our president. With the provisional results we have here, Albert Kwabena Jumfor is having 64.49% of the vote. That's 445%, 445 votes cast. Whilst his contender, Charles Mausi, has 245. That is just 35.51% of the votes. If you go to the vice presidential candidacy, Mary Mensah has 272 votes. That's making 39.65%. Whilst the former PRO, who is contesting for the vice president position, Rebecca Ekpi, has 414, making 60.35%. Same with the general secretary position, where we have Dominic Ulazi, who is contesting for the position working with the GBC. He has 443, making 64.20%. While we have Akwesi Ajimai having 247, making 35.50%. For the organizing secretary of the GGA position, Sanda Maxwell, who was the Eastern Regional chairman, now contesting for the organizing secretary position, Maxwell Kujo, has 321, making 46.79% of the votes, and his major contender, Suleimana Mustafa, also vying for the organizing secretary position, has 365, making 63.21%. Also, if you go to the public relations affairs desk, where we have Caesar Abagale contesting and pulling 253 votes, making 36.99%, to Kwesi Jesse, who is also contesting for the same public affairs but pulling 63.01. And then lastly, for the treasurer position, Chidura Medoku has a total of 267 votes, making 41.72%, and Beta Bedu Jensi pulling 401 votes, making 58.28%. So it sounds like if we are to go by the provisional results we have here, then we will have our current president, Albert Kwabena Jumfor, retained as president, and we'll be having a new vice president being Rebecca Ekpi, and also we have a new general secretary who is in the person of Dominic Kurazi. We'll be having a new organizing secretary that will be in the person of Mr. Suleimana Mustafa. Our public affairs position that has been vacant because Rebecca left the position would have a new person taking charge of the Public Affairs Directorate of the GJA being Mr. Kwesi JC. And lastly, for the treasurer position, we are likely, if this provisional result is being accepted by everyone by consensus, then we would have our new treasurer being Better Bwebi JC.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's Chris Kevin Esima. He works with me here in the Citi Newsroom. He's reporting for us from the International Press Center, where Ghanaian journalists have voted for a new crop of leaders across the country and also at the national level. Let me say congratulations to my brother Dominic Logi, the new General Secretary, member of the Media Coalition Against Open Defecation, my colleague there, and of course Abel Jumfo, who's done a brilliant job over the past 4 years since he was elected. And also welcome to Mr. Mustafa, who is taking over the new position, and a number of the other officers. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll be going for the business news now. We'll come back with Point Blank. Please stay.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
Charlie, where are you?
Boss man, I'm at the bank.
Really? But your car is in front of your house.
Bro, my bank on my phone, Charlie.
Oh, how?
EcoBank, bro. With EcoBank mobile app, I can do everything, anywhere, anytime. Listen, I just checked my account balance, paid Ahmed's school fees, and sent money to my grandma at Wale.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Massa, just download the EcoBank mobile app from the Google Play Store or the App Store, or dial *770# and be your own bank manager.
Manager.
Whether to pay bills or fees, to check account statements, send money across Ghana, abroad, and more, EcoBank mobile app has got it covered. EcoBank Mobile, making everyday people live everyday lives the EcoBank way. EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
Hot pepper powder.
Loco shoe. This advert is FDA approved.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Melody Fafa Gotufe. The details now. Presidential advisor on the 24-hour economy, Guzi Tano, says the policy is expected to attract an estimated $4 billion in private sector investment over the next few years. He noted that the 24-hour economy will introduce key structural reforms aimed at reversing the growing trend of businesses relocating to neighboring Côte d'Ivoire due to more favorable conditions. Speaking ahead of the official launch of Ghana's 24-hour economy and the Accelerated Export Development Program, he said the initiative is designed to unlock long-term industrial growth, job creation, and export competitiveness.
The total estimated investment required over the next few years is about $4 billion times 10, so 400 billion Ghana cedi. And we hope it stays that way. And most of this is going to come from the private sector. One of the problems that investors have had in working in Ghana, and I'm sure all of you have heard that because of the unpredictable and incoherent incentive regimes and also the high cost of operating in Ghana, including the under-table payments and requests and corruption, some companies have left and gone to Ivory Coast, where it's easier to do business. Our aim is to reverse that. And so one of the key components is, one, a coherent, practical, transparent incentive regime that is based on performance. And as NASA said, with very little discretion. So we remove the corruption component out. 2, build these agroecological parks so that you meet the requirements of both domestic private investors and foreign investors with land where there's no title disputes.
He also underscored the need for Ghana's macroeconomic stability to be rooted in strong growth, adding that the private sector holds the key to unlocking the full potential of the policy and must rise to the occasion by seizing emerging investment opportunities.
The ethos of this program is that as Ghanaians, we must be tired of being poor and being described as poor when we have such vast resources and also the potential for an extraordinarily improved human capital that will drive this program. The program is principally a private sector program, and we believe that the private sector, both domestically and internationally, will step up to the investment opportunities that are created by the program and indeed by government's overall economic policy. Because one thing that is always important to remember is that no matter, particularly in our circumstances, no matter how much integrity, consistency, and stability we are able to achieve at the macro level, the support for reinforcing that macro stability.
That was Presidential Advisor on the 24-hour economy, Guzi Tano. The Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, has expressed readiness to collaborate with the Ghana Revenue Authority as it rolls out a new modified tax system targeting the informal sector from July 1, 2025. Speaking to Citi Business News, GUTA President Joseph Obeng welcomed the initiative, describing it as a potential game changer for streamlining tax compliance among informal traders. He stressed the need for continuous engagement and education to ensure a smooth rollout and broad-based support from the trading community.
It's very important to rope in the very informal sector of the trading public and even the other industries. It's very important that taxes are not made to be paid by just a few of us. That's why this modified tax system is very welcome news for us, so that it can at least bring in the micro and then the medium enterprises also to come and pay these taxes that we so need, to bring some respite to the tax-paying public. And then the way it is structured, and we are going to also educate our members to all come along and pay these taxes to help all of us as a nation.
That was the president of GUTA, Joseph Obeng. Now, MTN Ghana has successfully concluded its annual 21 Days of Yellow Care initiative, highlighting the impact of the campaign, which mobilized employees to give back to society. During the 3-week period, the company carried out several impactful initiatives, including providing digital skills training to over 500 women artisans and producing and distributing 500 school uniforms to underserved communities. The Chief Corporate Services and Sustainability Officer at MTN Ghana, Adjoa Efriye, delivered a summary of the company's activities and achievements throughout the campaign.
MTN Yellow Care was launched on 4th June of this year. And Yellow Care is a program, or it's an employee volunteerism program, where MTN employees for 21 days go out to volunteer on a number of projects that we would have designed in-house. So this year we were connecting at the roots, and we were using through digital tools. And so we partnered with a number of organizations to be able to go across the country to train the youth in digital skills, in mobile phone repair, just things that could give them an immediate livelihood or means of support and way of living. So we did that across the regions. We trained them mobile phone repair, use basic skills in ICT.
That is the Chief Corporate Services and Sustainability Officer at MTN Ghana, Adjoa Efriye. Meanwhile, as part of the initiative, MTN Ghana also commissioned a new digital truck which will travel to deprived areas across the country to equip underserved communities with essential digital skills. As June comes to a close, so does the 2025 edition of the Citi Business Festival. Launched on June 2, the month-long initiative sought to enhance market literacy and drive business transformation across sectors. Here's a recap of the festival's highlights.
The 2025 Citi Business Festival was officially launched on June 2, ushering in a month-long campaign aimed at empowering entrepreneurs, professionals and SMEs with strategic tools for growth, resilience and innovation. Organized by 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 Television, this year's festival delivered a dynamic lineup of fora, clinics and boot camps structured around 4 thematic weeks: personal finance, agribusiness, SME development and tech startups. Festival also featured daily honors segments across radio and television, providing expert insight and practical advice to both personal and business decision making. Week 1 focused on personal finance, offering tips on savings, budgeting, investing and wealth creation. The second week highlighted trade and agribusiness with forums that explore the value chain and policy directions.
The broader issue of continental action, that again was one of the things that some of us spoke about, that everything we are doing here, we shouldn't be thinking about Ghana alone, because our next door neighbors are part of ECOWAS. So there's a collective, objective that we've had for 34 years and which has not fully been realized. Then there's also the continental aspect, the AUC and all these continental bodies. In this conversation, we've also mentioned the need for other Pan-African institutions, the remittances, in Africa Remittance Organization. So let's continue with that Africanization of our thoughts so that we can't have just Balkanized thinking that in Ghana we've changed our minds, but Ivorians haven't changed their minds. So you can't then go together.
From June 20 to 22, the highly anticipated AgriFair took place at the Foa Sutherland Children's Park, bringing together producers and consumers in a vibrant marketplace. The event was attended by the Minister of Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, and Deputy Minister of Trade, Samson Ahi, who both shared their reflections on the fair.
As we speak, we import a lot of food into Ghana. Our food import bill is estimated above $2 billion annually. And so every year, we throw away $2 billion to the foreign market to go and buy food to supplement local production. So clearly, our agricultural landscape is a paradox which must be looked at critically.
At this stage, we need to look at the scaling up of our production, and so that we can. The president is talking about sustainable exports, and he is chairing a committee to make sure that we export what we produce. If we're able to do export, then we have to add value to whatever we produce.
The festival's final week culminated in a management boot camp where seasoned business executives and emerging professionals engaged in sessions on leadership, strategy and corporate governance. The 2025 Citi Business Festival is powered by 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 Television in partnership with Absa Bank Ghana and MTN Ghana, and proudly sponsored by Zonda Tech Ghana.
You heard a report put together by Shika Caesar, and that will be all for this edition of the Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Melody Fafa, but to fair up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Oh, jump on now.
Go. Ugomi, at what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open there.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
Go! what the gogo?
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Polytank is everywhere, durable and authentic. Stronger brand you can trust. Polytank, we get some more Rambo and get some more super. And the Polytank, we get Polytank. Papa no no, 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 Alcasa. Polytank,
The original, always the best. Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. I am Umaru Sandama. Tonight on Point Blank, John Dramani Mahama, when he was campaigning and his NDC, told Ghanaians they were going to introduce a 24-hour economy. Many were asking, what is that? What kind of animal is that? When President Mahama was elected, he appointed a man who ran for president in the year 2000 on the National Reform Party, a man who was then before a member of the NDC and after a member of the NDC. Guzi Tano is his name. Now, he's presidential advisor on the 24-hour economy. Today, Guzi Tano met with journalists in Accra and explained the concept of the 24-hour economy, saying that President John Dramani Mahama would formally launch the policy this week. So he explained what the 24-hour economy would be about. Let's listen to what he's been saying.
A couple of questions. I think this is really great, and I thank you for organizing it, because 24-hour economy was marketed as some 3x3 shift system, but it's actually an economic transformation thing. So if you hadn't done this and if you hadn't preempted the launch with this, we probably would have still gone into the press, the main release, with a very limited idea of what it is. But that also creates a problem for you, because in the minds of the public, it's just a slogan they use as part of what they wanted to do in the election. But this is really serious stuff. So our work is very difficult as media to try and get people to understand what it is. So you need to be patient and to also be realistic in what you expect us to do. Because for a lot of us, the first time we are hearing this level of detail. So it's actually an economic transformation program marketed as a shift system. Right? And there's also a political issue where now both your opponents and your supporters have a certain perception of what it is, and it's not really what it is. It's actually much deeper. So if after you launch it, you're not getting the right coverage, you need to know that it may take time. I'm saying that as a journalist. Because I'll say even after the interview with you was when a lot of people actually understood what the hell 24-hour economy was. A lot of people were just talking about 3x3, but didn't even know what it meant. So for a lot of my colleagues in the newsroom, they say, oh, so this is what it actually means. So it's a bigger thing than we all see. Having said that, I have 2 questions, or 2.5. You said this is off government balance sheet. And you mentioned and hinted how things like EXIM and DBG will come in. We have a massive financing gap in Ghana. What is AFDB and AfrExim and other African financiers interested in this? Because what you are trying to do is beyond the finance in Ghana. That's question one. Question two, on the basis of what I've said about how people see it, are there specific targets? Because this, you have 3 pillars, you have 4 principles, you have 8 programs, you have many, many projects. A lot of things are going on there, right? From a communication perspective, are you able to tell us milestone by end of 2025? This is what we want to see. End of 2026, we want to see. By end of the administration's term, we need some specific things because there are too many things happening in this 24 economy. So that's question 2. And question 2.5. When you explain the financing thing very well, the fact that our interest rates don't support manufacturing, but you missed out on power. Our power cost also.
Part first. The Volta Economic Corridor and other parts, because this is all over the country, there are other projects in Western North, palm oil and so on, as part of the value chain. But we know the problems of the cost of power. We know the need to recover legacy debt. We know that legacy debt is around $2 billion or something like that. That has to be priced into the electricity bill. Knowing that, and knowing where this Volta Economic Corridor is going to basically be situated, our energy mix for this program is solar power, attracting new battery technologies that allow for 24-hour provision of power, combined with bioenergy. You know, if you build large agricultural parks, you're going to have a lot of agricultural waste. So you use that agricultural waste to generate energy. Particularly if you have industrial parks who will need gas and are far away from the gas pipelines to be able to fire their boilers, for, particularly for food and beverage, processing, evaporation, and so on, crystallization and so on. So that's second. Third, the grid itself. In the area where the development will occur, you know, outside the exclusion zone, because near the gorge, you can't go there, where the dam is basically proximate to the dam. So everything will have to be upstream and downstream of Pong. The transmission backbone there is very weak. So about 69 kV. So we obviously have to find other means of, and that's why the solar, the waste to energy is important. And the model we're using is a model that's evolving. Where you, Bernard, as an investor, come and say, okay, you need 50 megawatts in your agroecological park. I will build a solar plant. It's about 1 megawatt per hectare. I will build a solar plant, 50 hectares. I'll sell you electricity. And the protocols of this program for the industrial parks and the agroecological parks, you cannot sell at more than 5 to 7 cents per kilowatt hour. And it's perpetual. It's renewable. And it's carbon friendly in terms of environmentally friendly. So on top of that, you then build also your capacity to generate the requisite carbon credits for offsets, both in the voluntary market and also in the state-to-state market under the Paris Convention. So we've designed this in a way that it can be financeable. It provides the energy mix that will attract industry. And eventually, once we get out of our problems with the grid, both in terms of reinforcing the backbone around that area, I'm told that they want to do a loop from Tamale and then basically bring it around to across the Volta so it's more resilient. Once you're able to achieve that, then the mix may change. It may be grid, solar, and then bio. But that mix has to be there, as many other countries are beginning to adopt. I'm sure you know that California is totally stressed now by electricity outages and so on, because there's so much pressure, particularly during the summer when everybody has their air conditioning on. So it's not peculiar to Ghana. There are outages even in New York sometimes. So we have to get the energy mix right, and within the incentive environment that allows people to invest in captive power, in microgrids that support industry and agricultural production. So that's number one. Okay. Number two, specific projects, targets. We're now doing the concept notes for the implementation because we've been approached by several international bodies. I don't want to name all of them, but I'll just name a couple, okay? AFDB, Exim, who want to be part of this program and who want to see Ghana begin to provide the pipeline of projects that allows them to use their ADF to finance. One of the problems they have, and NASA has made it very clear, Ghana's pipeline of projects is incoherent. It's not tied to any particular transformation agenda. It's project by project by project in silos. And more importantly, the project pipeline is not enough and it dries up very quickly. And then new ones are conceived and they are abandoned. I'll give you an example. Mechanization support, which is part of the agroecological zones, which will be private sector owned in our program. The public mechanization centers, some of them are in the bush, growing wheat. So we looked at all this, and as Nas said, fantastic projects going on in Ghana, financed by this MasterCard, North Fund, this, but they don't hang together. And the idea is to concentrate our efforts in the kind of ways that we prevent the fragmentation, and also we concentrate the output. So we do have targets. And the concept notes we're developing is designed and based on these targets, because no bank will finance you if you don't have a clear target of what your output is going to be, what your input is going to be. So we're expecting, for instance, in the agroecological parks, in the value chains, soya bean, groundnuts, rice and so on, to achieve targets over the 5-year period, which at the very least will let us cut imports by 50%. But the specifics are being worked out because that's scientific things. You don't just get up and because one of the reasons why several programs have failed, and I'm not in any way downgrading possibly the good intentions around the 1D, 1F. You don't design programs because you want to produce. You design programs because the market wants it. So you work back from the market, both in terms of output, in terms of demand, in terms of market saturation, in terms of opening new markets, but most importantly, in terms of your price competitiveness and the reliability of your supply chains. A lot of people export shea nut and so on, shea butter, young, small people, craft, cocoa, chocolates. They send it to America, they send it to Europe. You know the biggest problem they have? It's not consistent. The demand is there, people want it, but there's no consistency because we have so many problems. We want to remove that consistency and inconsistency and bring reliability and predictability to Ghanaian exports through the program that we're doing. So we do have quantitative targets and we have qualitative targets. One thing Nas didn't talk about, and is very essential to the program, is standardization and the role of Ghana Standards Authority, FDA, to get our goods acceptable in foreign markets. Don't forget that the Europeans, as well as the Americans, the Americans more blatantly in terms of raising tariff barriers, but the Europeans have non-tariff barriers, NTBs. And if you've looked at the recent, I urge you to look at them, all of you, the recent EU sustainability rules. We have to school our people to achieve those standards so we can enter those markets. Because one day, if you are not schooled and implement those standards, you're out. So standardization, levels of quality, ISO certifications, and so on are going to be very key. So inevitably, this program cannot succeed without boosting Ghana Standards Board's capacity, not just as an entity in Accra, but all over the country. Labs that test food for microbiological content, E. coli, salmonella, are all over available in the country. Now, SGS with Tema and Takoradi and Kumasi, that's it. Even Takoradi, they do mostly oil testing. Kumasi, I think they do testing for cocoa. But food, no. So, I'll stop here and let Nas take over with the other. And H2 is here to assist.
So that's Guzi Tano. He is a presidential advisor on the 24-hour economy under the presidency of John Dramani Mahama. He was speaking to journalists, including our own Bernard Kokwavle earlier today. President Mahama, we are told, will be launching the 24-hour economy properly somewhere this week. We look forward to that to hear more on what the president's plan would be. But that would be it for Eyewitness News tonight. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu. I did this tonight with Melody Fafak Portufe, production by Sami Wiafi, Bevelyn London, and Juliana Odami Asaro, with the technical support from Daniel Squashi and Nikwate Kwoti. New media support from Emmanuel Owusu. We'll be back tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Thank you for listening. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM, relevant radio always.